Hello, this is Tim with TAH-DAH Farm. Today we're going to be doing some work on the 6620, getting it ready for harvest. Harvest is getting close. Let me show you what we're going to get into. All right, guys, this is the main hydraulic tank on that combine, and this is the one I'm replacing. Between the two former owners, they have re-welded, and this is actually welded in because they couldn't get it to stop leaking, even replacing the O-rings. This one has been welded in, and this one's been welded in. They actually got loose and started spinning these doodads in here. And then it's so bent up on the bottom here that it wouldn't stop leaking. So here's the bottom part of that. That is a nice heavy, I don't know if that's 1/8 inch, and this is just thin aluminum. And when you tighten that up, this stays flat and straight, and this just bends all to pieces over the years. And that big 1/4 inch O-ring just lets it leak like a sieve. So the last attempt was they had a whole bunch of silicone around this to stop the leak, and that between last January when he brought it to me, it was full, and it was half empty here when we got to work on it. So let me show you what we did and how it goes. All right, this main hydraulic tank is under this cover right here, and these are the stairs to get up into the cab. So this is where the main hydraulic tank is. Now there's another hydraulic tank right here. It's behind this cabinet here under the auger, unload auger. That's your hydrostat. And they did this one better. They put a heavier end plate on here and a heavier, well, that's almost probably the same thing other than it's got a temperature sensor there. But here we got this, and I still got a small leak. So I'm still tightening up. I don't know how tight to make these bolts. But while we're doing it, we placed this hydraulic suction hose, and we did this one as well. But yeah, up in there, every fitting has a different wrench, and they're just all right there. So it wasn't too bad to do. I did use the new oil temperature sensor that's right there, but I mean, it's all pretty easy access to get to it, to take all the bolts out and replace all that. And then this attaches with these two bolts here, and there's two bolts up there. So once you got, of course you drain it first, and then you can take these bolts off. There's that filter inside there you can see earlier there. And then there's a strainer on this one here. That was that strainer that was there earlier. That goes inside here in a bracket. And so this is your suction for your head reel. So when you engage your electric clutch, this is what drives the separator section of the combine. So in the cab, you push the handle forward, it tightens this pulley up, and then this spins. Then your electric clutch in here, when you pull the knob to engage the head, that runs this, which is the two hoses that you gotta always have tied together, because once you pull that together, this pump is pumping. You'll blow that pump apart if you don't have them tied together. And then that's one of these that returns to the tank. And yeah, these are all returns up in here. Every one of those is a return from something. This combine, that header height control is right here. So it comes on back from your, way the hydraulic works on that, it comes back to the grain unloading auger. And that's what's right there, the valve that's right there that spins the auger out. That's right there. And then the power beyond comes to here. And then this moves back and forth and lets the power beyond go back up here when you're not using it. back there. And then this also is returned from that hydraulic. So power beyond just means that one hydraulic valve and you power beyond that one to another valve, power beyond that one to another valve, power beyond that one to another valve. And eventually you get to where you don't power beyond anymore. So this one doesn't power beyond. It just relieves back to here. That's how you hold your pressure. But I can feed this valve. So this is the last valve that's going to work. You use all the other ones. This one may not work as well as it would if nothing's being used. That's just how power beyond works. And then, you know, when you let back down, that relieves the pressure oil back to the tank, the unused oil. So anyway, these are all returns, like I said. Temperature sensor back here, they all come out. There's 4 of them back here. And pretty easy to do. This is the suction line that goes up, and it does 2 things. That pump has 2 discharges on it. It's on the end shaft of the engine right up there. Off the, I guess you'd call it the transmit. Well, it's not really a transmission. The power into the engine powers several things there, and one of them's on the very end here is a hydraulic pump. That pump does 2 things. One, it goes off to your steering, and the other one, it goes off to the main valve that does your head raising up and down, your reel raising up and down, and then that powers beyond back to the valve that will swing the auger out, and that powers beyond back to the header height control. So that's what that pump does, but not a bad job. Still gonna have to tighten up on these a little bit, make sure we don't have any more leaks, but hopefully I can get that tight enough. Maybe once we get it running and warm it up, that O-ring will soften up some more and be a little more pliable to stop that from leaking. It was not leaking, and they told me it was full of oil there at Spollinger Combine there in Bluffton, Ohio. This is a used tank. So yeah, the used tank came with all the fittings. A new tank would not have come with all the fittings, and I would have probably had to buy most of the fittings and at least the O-rings to replace it all. So anyway, that's one of the first projects we've done here on this combine. Stay tuned, we got some more we'll be working on.